The news didn't explode all at once. It crept in quietly, almost like a whisper spreading through Flagstaff. Neighbors began noticing small but unsettling changes. The luxury SUVs that once lined the Browns' driveway were suddenly gone. The lights in Robin Brown's house stayed off day and night, the curtains drawn tight. Kody Brown was nowhere to be seen. At first, people dismissed it as rumor, but then the truth hit hard. Everything Kody Brown owned had been seized by the bank. That included Robin's house, the most expensive and lavish property the Brown family ever owned. The mansion, once a symbol of favoritism and excess, was gone. The fantasy had collapsed. Witnesses described a heartbreaking scene as Robin stood on the sidewalk clutching a cardboard box filled with her children's belongings, tears streaming down her face, while officers handed her a foreclosure notice. TLC cameras were already rolling. The nation watched as Flagstaff County Bank confirmed the seizure in an official statement. "This isn't real," Robin reportedly kept repeating. "We have kids. They need their home." But the bank didn't care, and neither did much of the public. For years, viewers had watched Robin live comfortably while the children of Janelle and Christine appeared sidelined, emotionally and financially. The backlash online was swift and brutal. One viral post summed up the mood perfectly. Robin thought she won. Now she knows what it feels like to be last on a sinking ship. The life of luxury was stripped away overnight. The bank took the cars, electronics, furniture, even the Christmas decorations. Robin reportedly broke down over sentimental items, including a tree skirt. Her children, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, Solomon, and Ariella, stood silently as movers cleared out their home. Not a word was spoken. Exhausted and shattered, Robin finally turned toward the cameras and said, "We didn't deserve this. My kids didn't deserve this." Before you go, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button and join our YouTube family. Thank you for your support. But one question echoed louder than anything else online. Where was Kody? According to reports, he wasn't even nearby. While Robin faced foreclosure, Kody had reportedly retreated to a friend's ranch in southern Arizona. Sources claim he blamed Robin for the disaster. A leaked voicemail allegedly captured his frustration. "I gave you everything, and now it's all gone. Maybe if you hadn't insisted on that Flagstaff house." The recording cut off, but the damage was done. For the first time, Robin's older children spoke publicly. Aurora went live on Instagram, saying, "People think we're spoiled. We're not. We didn't ask for this." Dayton added quietly, "I just wanted peace. Now we're homeless. This isn't a TV show, it's our life." Public opinion began to shift slightly. While criticism of Robin remained harsh, sympathy for the children grew. Fundraisers appeared online to help them rebuild. Still, others were unforgiving. "Karma for Robin," one fan wrote, "but the kids are innocent." Janelle and Christine didn't stay silent. Janelle admitted she saw the collapse coming years ago. "I warned him," she said. "He didn't listen."
Christine was even more direct.
"You favored one wife and neglected your other children. Now even that wife has nothing. What does that say about your leadership?" Reports claimed Christine and her husband David offered temporary housing for Robin's children, but not for Robin herself. "The kids are welcome," Christine allegedly said. "Robin needs to face her own decisions." Meri, usually quiet, posted a cryptic message online. "Sometimes the tower has to fall before the truth comes out." Fans immediately understood the message. Later, Meri confirmed, "I was made to feel less than for years." Now the one treated as more than is finally feeling it. Behind the scenes, TLC scrambled. Season 19 was already heavy with grief and fractured relationships, but now they had a new headline: Robin Brown, homeless. Cameras followed her to a budget motel where she struggled to comfort her crying children. "Maybe now people will see I'm not the villain," she said. "I'm a victim too." Public opinion didn't fully agree. Surveys showed nearly 80% of viewers sympathized with the children, but less than a quarter felt any sympathy for Robin. Then came what insiders called the emotional peak of season 19, a private meeting between Kody and Robin at a public park. Audio from the encounter allegedly leaked. Robin cried, "You said we were safe." Kody responded bitterly, "You wanted more, and I let you." Soon after, tragedy struck again. Aurora reportedly suffered a severe panic attack in a motel lobby and was hospitalized. Doctors recommended trauma therapy and a more stable environment for the children. Donations poured in nationwide. In a shocking twist, Christine and David publicly suggested adopting Solomon and Ariella, citing stability and structure. Robin was furious. "You stole my husband, now you want my kids?" Christine's response was cold. "You didn't just lose your husband. You lost reality." Robin now lives in a TLC-provided temporary apartment for filming. Rumors swirl that she's planning a memoir titled The Truth Behind the Tears. Others say she's pushing for a spin-off. TLC remains cautious. Meanwhile, Kody's life has unraveled completely. His relationship with Robin appears broken. Once the face of polygamy, he is now a cautionary tale. Reports claim he's living in a rented RV, working odd consulting jobs, even applying for regular employment for the first time in decades. And then, he showed up at Janelle's door. Disheveled, desperate, and carrying a duffel bag, Kody asked for help. Janelle didn't move. "This is my home," she told him. "I built this without you." What followed was a confrontation years in the making. Tears, shouting, and finally, Kody collapsing to his knees. "I'm losing everything," he cried. Janelle's response was calm, but devastating. "My children needed you then, not now." Christine later revealed Kody had also asked her for money. Both women refused. Weeks later, Kody returned to Janelle, not to beg, but to apologize. She said nothing as he walked away. Today, the Brown family stands divided, but finally free. Janelle, Christine, and Meri have rebuilt their lives. Their children are safe. Robin sits alone, scrolling through hateful messages, wondering how it all collapsed. This isn't just a story about polygamy. It's a story about favoritism, power, and denial, and the price of believing privilege would last forever. The fallout didn't stop with slammed doors and broken apologies. In the weeks that followed, the reality of Kody Brown's collapse became impossible to ignore. The man who once commanded 4 households now drifted between temporary places, unwanted and unanchored. Former friends quietly distanced themselves. Old allies stopped returning calls. The confidence that once defined him had been replaced by bitterness, regret, and visible fear. According to insiders, Kody genuinely believed the sister wives' paycheck would never end. For years, the show had been his safety net, his excuse for reckless spending and unchecked control. But ratings don't pay foreclosures, and reality TV fame doesn't protect against financial ruin. When TLC began reducing compensation and tightening contracts, Kody's illusion of security shattered overnight. Meanwhile, Robin spiraled further. Production sources described her as emotionally frozen, missing shoots, crying uncontrollably, and refusing to speak to Kody. She had believed, wholeheartedly, that Janelle would step in and save them. That belief collapsed the moment Janelle shut the door. In one raw scene filmed weeks later, Robin sat on the edge of a motel bed, her voice breaking. "We were supposed to grow old together," she sobbed. "All of us. Now everyone hates us, and we have nothing." There was no villain edit, no dramatic music, just a woman facing the consequences of years spent insulated by favoritism. Kody, meanwhile, hit rock bottom publicly. In a confessional that stunned viewers, he finally admitted what many had said for years. "I don't know how to be alone," he confessed. "I don't know how to start over. I thought I was holding the family together. Turns out I was tearing it apart." For the first time, there was no defensiveness, only defeat. He attempted to rent a small room locally, but was turned down. Poor credit. No stable income. TLC uncertainty. With no safety net left, Kody reportedly began applying for ordinary jobs, used car dealerships, entry-level sales positions, even exploring YouTube as a last-ditch effort to tell his side. Online reaction was merciless. From patriarch to parasite, one headline read. Back on social media, public sympathy continued to divide sharply. The children remained the only clear victims in most viewers' eyes. Robyn, however, was not afforded the same grace. Comment sections filled with harsh reminders of past favoritism, extravagant spending, and years of silence when others suffered. Christine and Janelle, by contrast, appeared unbothered and unbreakable. They spoke more frequently now, bonded by shared history and mutual healing. Their conversations were quiet, grounded, and free of chaos. "We survived," Christine said in one interview. "That's enough." Meri, too, seemed finally unburdened. Kody Brown attempted to rent a room in town, hoping for something small and temporary. He was rejected. Bad credit. No consistent income. With TLC quietly slashing his pay due to uncertainty surrounding the future of Sister Wives, Kody found himself doing something he hadn't done in decades, applying for regular jobs. According to leaked reports, he explored positions as a car salesman, a real estate assistant, and even floated the idea of launching a YouTube channel to finally tell his side of the story. The patriarch who once presided over 4 households was now pleading for opportunity. When word spread that Janelle had refused to help him, the internet erupted. Social media commentary was swift and unforgiving. "Janelle is a queen for telling him to leave," one post read. "He ignored her for years and now wants help? Reap what you sow," another comment cut deeper. "Janelle built peace. Kody built an illusion." Headlines followed soon after, branding him everything from fallen patriarch to parasite. 3 weeks later, Kody returned to Janelle's home one final time. This time, he didn't ask for money or shelter. He simply wanted to apologize. Standing on the porch with his arms hanging low, he said quietly, "I wanted to tell you I'm sorry. I let you down. I let the kids down. I let everyone down. I hope one day you can forgive me." Janelle stood with her arms crossed, listening without interruption. When he finished, Kody turned around and walked away. Janelle never said a word. In a confessional filmed shortly after, Janelle finally spoke from the heart. "I gave him second chances for years," she said. "I'm not giving him a third. I found peace, and I'm not trading that for pity." For the first time in decades, she was living on her own terms, free from chaos, free from emotional exhaustion, and free from being second to anyone. Janelle's life has since shifted into a new chapter. She's focused on wellness, expanding her health coaching work, writing, and even designing a modest green cabin on what remains of Coyote Pass, if the legal battles ever resolve. Fans have embraced this version of Janelle wholeheartedly. One viral post summed it up perfectly. "Loyalty is not self-sacrifice. You can love someone and still walk away." Meanwhile, Kody's collapse became undeniable. His once boasted plural family empire lay in ruins. He reportedly moved into a rented RV on the outskirts of town. No wives, no mansion, no authority. In a rare moment of self-awareness, Kody admitted on camera, "I thought I was the center of it all. Maybe I was just the storm." When Janelle shut her door that final time, it wasn't just a door closing, it was a boundary being drawn. Decades of emotional neglect, favoritism, and silence ended with one decisive click of a deadbolt. Janelle didn't just keep Kody out. She reclaimed her life. Robyn's wall, the isolation that fractured the family from the beginning, Robyn Brown never fully integrated into the Brown family dynamic. When she joined Sister Wives, many believed it marked a hopeful new era. Instead, it became the turning point that quietly fractured the family from within. Where Meri, Janelle, and Christine raised their children communally, messy, loud, and intertwined, Robyn introduced a drastically different model: separation. Former family acquaintances have spoken openly about the invisible boundaries Robyn enforced. Even during family gatherings, her children remained apart. What began as cautious parenting slowly evolved into rigid rules. No sleepovers at other wives' homes. No shared bedrooms with siblings. No unsupervised calls or video chats. No spontaneous family trips unless Robyn was present. Even shared meals were carefully controlled. At first, the other wives offered grace, assuming Robin was adjusting or dealing with anxiety from her past. But the boundaries never softened. They hardened into walls. Janelle later questioned it openly. She called it protection, but protection from what? Their own family?
Christine was more direct.
Our kids grew up sharing rooms, toys, memories, she said. Robin treated her children like royalty and ours like outsiders. Janelle echoed the sentiment, recalling how her sons repeatedly tried to include Dayton, only to be called back inside. Eventually, they stopped trying. Even Meri, who initially made efforts to connect, began to pull away. She put fences around her kids, around herself, even around Kody. Meri later reflected. It wasn't about joining the family. It was about being separate. Kody, however, dismissed concerns. She's just guarded, he would say. She's had a rough past. But viewers and family members alike saw it differently. Christine said it plainly. Robin made the rules, but Kody enforced them, even when it meant excluding his other children. The show itself documented the divide. Solomon and Ariella rarely played with their siblings. Robin's older children often retreated during family meals. The separation was deliberate and painful. Gabriel and Garrison later admitted they never felt like brothers to Robin's kids. We lived on the same property, Gabriel said, but we were strangers. Christine's daughter Isabel shared similar feelings. I wanted to be close to Aurora, she said. I tried. I reached out. Eventually, I gave up. Perhaps the most heartbreaking confession came from Aurora herself. In a leaked season 19 clip, she cried, I didn't want to be separate. I just didn't know how to be close. She explained how fear shaped their upbringing. Loyalty meant safety. Being close to the others meant being disloyal. Robin eventually attempted to justify her behavior publicly. I've experienced trauma, she said. I was shielding my children. But the explanation fell flat. Christine responded sharply. If you were that afraid of your own family, maybe plural marriage wasn't for you. Janelle added, this wasn't protection. It was possession. The pandemic intensified everything. Robin enforced strict rules, effectively cutting off communication between Kody and his other children, while Kody spent nearly all his time at her house. Dad said he couldn't see us because of COVID, Gabriel said. But he saw Robin every day. Christine described it bluntly. She weaponized fear to pull Kody in and push everyone else out. The final straw came during Christine's last conversation with Kody. You didn't just quarantine your kids, she said. You quarantined Kody. He didn't argue. He looked down. In a season-ending confessional, Robin finally admitted, I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't realize how much I was taking from everyone else. She wanted safety, but built walls so high that love couldn't climb over them. Meri Brown, the wife who stayed too long and left with grace. Meri Brown's story is not just a sister wives chapter. It's a human one. She was Kody's first wife, once the emotional center of the family. But over time, she became its most invisible member. Infertility shaped much of Meri's pain. While the other wives had multiple children, she had only one. That absence became an unspoken wound, deepened as Kody's attention drifted elsewhere. When Kody legally divorced Meri in 2014 to marry Robin, something irreversible broke. Though promised spiritual commitment, Meri knew she had lost her place. The catfishing scandal wasn't betrayal, it was loneliness. She wasn't cheating. She was forgotten. Yet Meri never lashed out. She rebuilt quietly. A bed and breakfast. Therapy. Travel. Growth. Her strength was mistaken for bitterness, but it was actually self-preservation. One painful truth remains. Meri loved Kody more than he ever loved her. And eventually, she realized loyalty without reciprocation is self-abandonment. Today, Meri walks forward with dignity.
Not I. No revenge.
Just peace. She didn't get chosen by Kody, but she finally chose herself. The unraveling of the Brown family did not happen overnight. It was the result of years of emotional imbalance, favoritism, unaddressed resentment, and a leadership structure that slowly collapsed under its own weight. What once appeared on television as a complex but functional plural family ultimately revealed itself to be an illusion held together by routine, money, and denial. At the center of that collapse stood Kody Brown, once the self-proclaimed patriarch, later exposed as a man who confused control with leadership and authority with love. As Sister Wives entered uncertain territory, with declining ratings and shifting audience sentiment, TLC quietly reduced compensation and tightened production commitments. For Kody, this was catastrophic. He had long assumed the show would be permanent, a financial anchor that allowed him to avoid long-term planning and accountability. When that security faded, so did his sense of identity. With mounting debts, poor credit, and no consistent income stream outside the show, Kody found himself unable to rent even modest housing. Rejections became routine. Property managers turned him away, citing financial instability. The man who once rotated between 4 homes was suddenly without one. Desperation followed. Kody reportedly began applying for standard jobs, sales positions, entry-level real estate work, used car lots, fields far removed from the patriarchal image he had cultivated for decades. He even considered launching an independent YouTube channel to tell his side, hoping public sympathy might translate into relevance or income. Instead, online reaction was swift and merciless. Commentators framed his downfall as self-inflicted, pointing to years of emotional neglect toward his wives and children. Public opinion had shifted decisively, and there was no appetite for redemption without accountability. The most defining rejection came not from employers or landlords, but from Meri Brown. For years, Janelle had been the practical backbone of the family, financially responsible, emotionally steady, and consistently loyal. When Kody finally reached out to her for help, she refused. This decision marked a turning point not only in her life, but in the narrative of the entire family. Janelle chose peace over obligation, boundaries over guilt. Viewers widely supported her stance, praising her refusal to rescue the very person who had sidelined her for years. In a final interaction between them, Kody returned to Janelle's home not to ask for money, but to apologize. His words were subdued and uncharacteristically vulnerable. He admitted failure, toward her, toward the children, toward the family as a whole. Janelle listened without interruption, arms crossed, face calm. When he finished, she said nothing. Her silence carried more weight than any argument ever could. Kody walked away, and with that moment, decades of emotional labor ended. Janelle later explained that forgiveness did not require reconnection. She had found peace, and she refused to give it up. Freed from the constant chaos, Janelle entered a new phase of life. She redirected her energy toward wellness, independence, and personal growth. She explored health coaching, writing, and the possibility of building a modest, sustainable home. For the first time, she was not managing crises or compensating for someone else's failures. Fans embraced this transformation, seeing in Janelle a powerful example of choosing self-respect after years of quiet endurance. Kody's trajectory moved in the opposite direction. With no wife willing to support him financially or emotionally and no clear future with the show, he retreated into isolation. Reports emerged that he moved into a rented RV on the outskirts of town. The image was symbolic. A man who once claimed to lead a family empire reduced to a transient existence. In a rare moment of reflection, Kody admitted on camera that he had mistaken himself for the center of the family when in reality, he had become the storm that tore it apart. While Kody's collapse was visible, Meri Brown's role in the family's fragmentation demanded deeper examination. From the moment she joined the family, Meri struggled, or refused, to integrate fully. Unlike the other wives, who raised their children communally in a shared, often chaotic environment, Meri maintained strict emotional and physical boundaries. Her children were kept separate, their interactions closely monitored. Sleepovers were discouraged. Shared childcare was limited. Even casual sibling bonding was constrained. Initially, the other wives offered understanding, attributing Meri's behavior to anxiety or past trauma. But over time, it became clear that these boundaries were not temporary safeguards, they were permanent walls. Janelle questioned why Robin felt the need to protect her children from their own siblings. Christine was more direct, noting that Robin's children were treated as exceptions while the others were expected to adapt. Meri, once eager to build a bond, eventually withdrew, recognizing that Robin's separation extended not just to her children, but to the entire family structure. Kody consistently defended Robin, dismissing concerns and enforcing her rules even when they alienated his other children. This favoritism became increasingly visible, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. Robin established strict protocols that effectively cut off Kody's access to his other families. While he cited safety concerns, the result was prolonged absence from his older children's lives. Many of them expressed deep hurt, explaining that their father claimed he couldn't see them, yet remained physically present with Robin every day. Christine openly accused Robin of using fear to isolate Kody and consolidate control. Janelle echoed the sentiment, describing Robin's parenting style as possessive rather than protective. Even Robin's own children later admitted they felt isolated, longing for closer relationships with their siblings, but unsure how to bridge the gap. One of Robin's daughters tearfully admitted that loyalty within their household had been framed as safety, and closeness with the others felt like betrayal. By the time Robin acknowledged that her actions may have contributed to the family's collapse, it was too late. The emotional damage was done. Relationships had fractured beyond repair, and trust was irreversibly broken. The walls she built to feel secure ultimately left her isolated, facing public criticism and dwindling sympathy. Kody Brown's departure marked another irreversible shift. Unlike Janelle's quiet boundary setting, Christine's exit was decisive and liberating. Years of emotional neglect, compounded by Kody's favoritism and lack of support during critical moments, such as their daughter's surgery, made it clear that the marriage was no longer viable. Christine chose happiness over endurance, becoming the first wife to publicly and permanently leave. Her transformation inspired widespread admiration, and her honesty reframed the narrative around plural marriage and female autonomy. Meri Brown's journey unfolded more quietly, but carried its own weight. As Kody's first wife, Meri once held a central role in the family. Over time, infertility and emotional distance pushed her to the margins. The legal divorce that allowed Kody to marry Robin severed what little security remained. Though promised spiritual commitment, Meri became increasingly invisible. The infamous catfishing scandal was widely misunderstood. Rather than betrayal, it reflected profound loneliness. Meri had been emotionally abandoned long before she sought connection elsewhere. Yet she absorbed the blame with grace, choosing not to weaponize her pain. Instead, she rebuilt. She pursued therapy, established a successful bed and breakfast, traveled, and cultivated independence. Her strength was often misread as bitterness, but it was survival. Eventually, Meri recognized a painful truth. Loyalty without reciprocity is self-erasure. When she finally stepped away, she did so without spectacle.
No accusations. No revenge.
Just acceptance and forward motion. In choosing herself, Meri reclaimed dignity that had long been denied. By the end, the Brown family story did not resolve with reconciliation or redemption. It concluded with truth. The structure that once held them together, patriarchal authority, unequal power, and emotional silence, proved unsustainable. Favoritism fractured trust. Control destroyed intimacy. And the refusal to evolve sealed the family's fate. Kody and Robin were left facing isolation, public backlash, and the consequences of years spent prioritizing control over connection. Christine, Janelle, and Meri emerged changed, not unscarred but empowered. Each, in her own way, chose independence, peace, and self-worth over the illusion of unity. The collapse of the Brown family was not the failure of plural marriage alone. It was the failure of leadership without accountability, love without equity, and loyalty demanded but never returned. What remains is a cautionary tale and a testament to the strength it takes to walk away when staying costs too much.